It's Friday, so let's have some fun. We are taking a scene out of Whose Line Is It Anyway and doing scenes from a hat, except these are takes from a hat. We are going to be just answering a grab bag of different questions related to the Nashville Predators or the NHL. And some of these are going to be serious hockey questions. Some of these are going to be just off the wall, wild Predators topics. So tune in today on the Locked On Predators podcast.
Your Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Predators your first listen of the day every day this week. I'm Nick Morgan. I'm a writer and editor at ontheforecheck.com, and I have a partner in crime who, like me, is shouting TGIF from mountaintop somewhere today.
Yes, it is so Friday, everyone. Yay. I'm Ann Kimmel. I'm a writer at ontheforecheck.com.
Yeah, thank God. What a week it's been.
Yes.
Huh?
It's been a whole thing. It's been a whole week. It's been a whole week in 5 days.
Yeah, not compounded by the fact now that my Oilers winning game 2 and setting up a very interesting series did not exactly go to plan last night.
Well, there's still games 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7. You never know. But man, those Avalanche. I'm telling you, it makes me feel a little less embarrassed for the Predators. The Predators did not bring their A game, but I think even with their A game, this Avalanche team is they are rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who slows them down, honestly. I'm talking about even Tampa. I don't know if Tampa can slow them down right now.
Yeah.
Especially the way they looked against the New York Rangers, which I say that, and Tampa's going to come back and have a bounce back game tonight now that I said that.
I know. Well, I did not see that Rangers game coming. That is not at all how I envisioned game 1 going. So it will be very interesting to see how Tampa comes out. And I wonder how much of it, I hate to be this guy, but how much of it was, hey, y'all got a little too much rest. So maybe game 1 kind of shook some of that off. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Tampa looks like coming out for game 2.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's Tampa Bay, so don't count them out,
No.
I think you might see a 2-1, 3-1 Lightning win tonight.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Now that I said that, the Rangers are going to win. So I don't know.
I think
everybody's got the Nick jinx going right now.
Yeah. So I'm actually not going to go with the opposite. I'm going to go with you. I think the Lightning win it tonight.
Yeah. Let's talk Preds hockey, shall we?
We should.
Everybody remembers Whose Line Is It Anyway? Classic show hosted by Drew Carey. Had guys like Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery. There was Wayne Brady's breakout.
Yes.
Charles Eston from Nashville was on there for a while.
Really?
Kind of forgot about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went by Chip Eston back then.
Okay, that's why I know who you were talking about. I remember Chip.
Yeah.
We know him as Chip.
Kind of a random throwback. So, of course, they had the game called Scenes from a Hat, which is where, Drew Carey just pulled out all these weird scenarios. He pulled them out of a hat and, the guys would have to kind of improv. So with that in mind, we're doing something today called Takes from a Hat. So what I did is I put a bunch of little pieces of paper in my hat and did the same. It's relating to Pred stuff or hockey stuff. Some can be off the wall, hey, what free agent would you want to sign this summer? Or, a little bit more off the beaten path. If each Predator was a sandwich, which one would you want to buy?
Okay.
Something
I
along those lines.
I did not write that one down.
I didn't write that one either.
Okay.
I was trying to use one that I didn't write down as an example, but I feel like you get the thing. So I'll draw one for Ann. Ann will draw one for me, and we'll just kind of quiz each other, see what takes we can come up with today. All right, Ann.
All right.
Do you want to say first, or do you want to draw first?
I'll go ahead and draw first. Is that okay? All right. So I'll put it up here so everybody can see there really are papers in here. Yeah. In my Craig Smith designed Predators hat, FYI. Oh, okay. This one is not as serious, but very important answer. Okay. It is karaoke night at Bridgestone Arena. What song is Rem and Josi performing?
Ooh, what song is Rem and Josi performing? Let's see. I'm like trying to envision. Does he go with like something about him, or do we go with his vibe and match the song with his vibe?
Yeah, that's tough. I don't. That's a tough one. I mean, I can think of a million songs about Roman Josi, so maybe we should go with his vibe.
Yeah, I feel like he's a guy that can, I think, like belt out karaoke, and he's like one of those guys that's like so good at everything that he would like deceptively just like dominate some song.
Yes.
Like a Donna Summer song. You know,
okay.
I can feel Roman Josi belting out like some Donna Summer or something like that.
Yep. I can see that. And I agree with you. I think he's one of those ones where you're like, he's real quiet. He wouldn't do karaoke. And then he would get up there and just knock it out of the park. There's nothing that man can't do.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I like that.
All right. So let's draw it to you.
Okay.
Shuffle it up. Also have some papers in here.
Feeling nervous.
Let's see. Which one do we got here? Oh, okay. Oh. This is keeping with the music theme.
Okay.
So we know in the playoffs, Nashville has a tradition of the anthem singers, like bring a famous person out to do the anthem.
Yeah.
Who is your dream national anthem singer?
Okay. First of all, I have that same question in my head.
Do you really?
I really do. I
got an answer if you draw it.
Okay. My dream anthem singer is a duet, and it is hands down, without question, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. Mr. and Mrs. Yearwood, 100% do the anthem. I know they love the Nashville Predators, and I think maybe Trisha has sung the national anthem for the Predators before.
I kind of think either in the, like, I want to say during like the playoff run in 2017 they did it, or maybe she was like the first one, like one of the first couple in 2018. I seem to remember her name popping up.
I feel like she has, but I want to see the Yearwoods doing a duet, Garth and Trisha, 100% without question. Let's go.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. Yeah.
It's, but I would want, when it comes to anything music related in Nashville, my answer is probably always going to be Garth and Trisha. I'm a 90s country girl, so that's just sort of where I land.
Yeah. See, I would have gone the other way on that.
Really?
Yeah. So
go ahead and answer it.
Okay. So the one thing I would love is like a guitar national anthem.
Yes.
Like I think the San Jose Sharks had one from Metallica back when they were in the Cup Finals. I mean, we've seen like, just somebody riffing the guitar.
Yes.
Somebody who lives in Nashville that would absolutely dominate that is Lizzie Hale from the band Hailstorm.
Oh,
she did the opening riff, like the first person to ever do the opening riff at the Nashville SC game.
I think
she would come in and slay the national anthem sometime.
That would be incredible. That would be incredible. I love that opening riff that the Nashville SC does. That'd be a great thing for Nashville to get in on. Like they should totally steal that because that is so cool.
It is,
so cool.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Let's draw one, shall we?
All right. Here we go. Reaching into the old Craig Smith hat. All right. Oh gosh, this is a little off the beaten path as well. I do have actual hockey questions. All right. Which Predators players do you suspect have already watched season 3 of Stranger Things?
Season 3 or season 4?
Or season 4, the one that just came out, season 4.
You know what? I would say Dante Fabro.
Yes, 100%.
He seems like a little bit of like a nerd in the group. Like not in like the bad way. Like he's not being shoved into his locker by Ryan Johansen or anything. But he seems like very like in touch with like sci-fi or something like that. I would say like any of the younger guys, like Ellie Tolvin, I could see him being like a big Netflix binging guy. Phil Tomasino touch with the youths. I don't think like any like 28, 29-year-old with like who's married with kids is going to have the time in the off season to sit and binge Stranger Things.
Can you imagine Matthias Ekholm doing that? Like two things that don't go together.
Yeah, gathered around with Ida and the kids, just like watching like a demon rip a girl's face off. I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see. I could see like somebody young like Philip Tomasino just like binging that after a day and whatever a rich 20-year-old person does nowadays. I can totally see those two being the vibe I would get for Stranger Things.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Dante Fabro. He is definitely a Stranger Things vibe in the good way, not in the he's strange way, but in a good way. Yeah.
In the good way.
In the good way.
What do we got for you?
All right.
Let's see.
Feeling nervous.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Oh, no.
All right.
Okay.
You have to bring one of these two people back to Nashville to play hockey for one season.
Ooh.
Ryan Suter or Alexander Radulov?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's
you have to pick one of those two.
Gosh. Okay, rock hard place.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do I have to make it okay for everyone? I would go with Radulov. That's who I would go with. I would go.
Why Radeloff?
Because I just feel like nobody can get over Ryan Suter. Like the hurt runs deep. And even though I know that there was drama in between all of that, I think Ryan Suter took the blame more. So that's just awful. That's an awful question, Nick. But I would go Radulov.
Did you see the Jason Arnott interview where he basically put Ryan Suter on blast, like during his time in the Preds?
No.
Yeah, basically saying where he's
yes,
like he complained all the time, was never like a team player, where Shea Weber was.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that's just reaffirms belief.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, if you're talking about it just strictly from a player standpoint, like Ryan Suter is the guy out of those two who can still at least consistently go.
Right.
Like he is still consistently maybe a top, like bottom of the top 4 pairing guy.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Radeloff was like almost non-existent this season. And he has just been very streaky here and there. So, I mean, if you're talking about it in terms of like playing, like which player would come in and be like the most immediate impact, I think it's Suter hands down.
You know what? For as much work as head coach John Hines has had to put into clearing out the funky air and saging that locker room, I would not bring Suter back for anything. Nope.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Alexander Radeloff's a top guy.
Well, no, but you know what? I'm here in my old age for the guy that's going to just tell the truth like it is. And although I know it's maybe not politically correct, I was like, yeah, I'll have you back. You'll say it to someone's face. That's less poisonous.
Yeah, you'll injure Roman Josi on some celebratory play, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We got more of these coming up in a second, and I promise mine do get very juicy / hot takey, so stay tuned for that. First, I want to mention today's show brought to you by our friends at BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's basketball championship, the NHL hockey conference finals, which we're talking about, MLB, and of course, all the latest fighting news from MMA and UFC to boxing. No matter what it is, BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering information. That includes everything from live betting, esports, all the different prop bets, lines, and more. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, and next up, what's next on the
list? All right, let me get a good. I hope I get a good hockey one. No, not that one.
You can't pick.
Okay, here we go. This is a good hockey one. This is worst case scenario. Okay. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. Connor Ingram is not available to back up UC Saros next season. If you are David Poile, what do you do?
Why isn't he available next season?
This is hypothetical. We don't look. full disclosure, there is nobody in Nashville who doesn't want to see Connor Ingram come and be here. Like, we're all in for this. But let's just say for some, like, he gets abducted by aliens. Yeah. No more Connor Ingram. What do you do?
Yeah, he gets trapped in like the t-shirt store, like kidnapped for his like catchphrase.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to go back. You'd have to go free agent, right? Not David Riddick.
Who would you get?
I don't even know what backups are on the market this year, but I feel like you would have to probably spend a little bit of money. I don't think you can exactly go cheap like you did last year.
That did not pan out well.
No, like, yeah, you got to invest in some guy who's at least has the capability of maybe being like a 1A. Thomas Greiss. Thomas Greiss is somebody who's on the market who has played very well in spurts for the Red Wings. So maybe Thomas Greiss is the guy.
That's a good one.
I don't foresee anybody other than Connor Ingram being the Preds backup next year. And if it is, what the actual hell are you doing?
What is happening?
Like, what the actual hell are you doing?
Yeah. I'm so interested to see if people weigh in the comments to say, bring up Askarov, because, they're hot to trot for Askarov, but I'm like, he's not ready. So I agree with you. Good Askarov, choice.
I think he's probably about 2 years away. He needs like 2 years in the minors, or at least, maybe if he has one really good season, then you have to do. But hey, right now you have 3 pretty good goaltending prospects in the organization. So, hey.
Not bad.
Yeah, no need to rush anything.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Okay. Whew.
Okay.
Oh, no.
This might be a layup. This might be a layup for you. Better shot at making the Hall of Fame, Pekka Rine or Shea Weber?
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I have a heart answer and a head answer. I think probably Shea Weber.
Why?
Not because I want it that way. Let me be clear. It's still February 2018 on my fridge because it's a picture of Pekka with puppies. So I'm heart-wise, I'm in for Pekka. But I think Shea Weber probably, for a couple reasons. I think longevity. I think he's played so many different places. And I think even though it's not supposed to matter, market matters. And I think Shea Weber has more exposure. He has more people familiar with his abilities and his talents. And I also think that he kind of is sort of somebody, he's more of like a prototype. You know what I mean? Like, he sort of is a defenseman that sort of is prototypical more than maybe Pekka Rine is, in that, like, I think people model some of their play, like watching Shea Weber play defense. I think he sort of created some nuance to the position maybe than was there before. So this is why I say Shea Weber. Do I want it to be Pekka Rine? Yes, I do. Yeah. But I would say Shea Weber.
It's interesting because I don't really think the argument for Shea Weber in the Hall of Fame is like as clear cut as some people seem to think it is. Because that has obviously been a debate over the last little bit about whether he is. I mean, his scoring rates are among the best all time, but he's only made it past the second round once.
That doesn't help.
And, his playoff stats aren't that great. So I don't know, especially if somebody like Phil Housley's not in there. It's interesting. It's interesting to see. Pekka Rine is also a very, complicated thing because, when you measure his stats, they're not as impressive as some people who are already not in the Hall of Fame. But when you talk about like individual impact on a team, it's a different thing. So it's going to be very interesting. I think you can make very strong for and against cases for either guy.
And I think this is very NHL typical in that there's no real clear-cut criteria, for like, and you and I have talked about this on and off camera, like the awards, they're very vague in description. So you can interpret the Norris different ways. And I think that's very true for the Hall of Fame for the NHL. I don't think it's as clear-cut as maybe like for the NFL where, you can sort of stack more criteria.
Do you think it's easier for a defender to get into the Hall of Fame than a goalie?
No. I think probably goalie, just because even though it's not necessarily true, this goalie stats are attributed to the goalie. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you take those statistics and they're considered a direct reflection of goalie performance. And I think with defensemen, it's very difficult to do that because they just don't keep really great defensive stats. There's not a lot of meat to statistics, but I also think it's hard to apply defensive performance in a statistical way. It's hard to weigh it like it is for a goalie. So I think it's probably a little bit easier for a goalie because in general, he stands alone. He's like the cheese. The cheese stands alone, so does the goalie.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next scene. What do we got?
Scene.
What's our next take from a hat?
All right. Oh gosh.
Lay it on me.
Let it be a good one. What's this one? Oh, hey. National Anthem. Let me pick another one. All right.
This we're on the same page.
Oh, this one is, I don't want to do this one, but we'll do it. This is not hockey. This is just, a pedal tavern company is looking for a Nashville Predator to be the spokesperson for their company. Who gets the gig?
Ryan Johansen.
The fact that you just spit that out.
he's got the party animal vibe.
Yeah, he's the Funkle.
Yeah, like I could see him in like the sleeveless tank top with like the slick back hair and the sunglasses with a strap on him, just like throwing fireball out on the top of the pedal wagon as it just goes down Demumbrian or something like that. I could totally see that being the Ryan Johansen vibe.
Yes, I do not disagree, and I love how quickly you landed there.
Yeah. The only other one I would think of is Philip Forsberg.
That's true. See, I go the opposite way. I think, you know what? I would give them Mattias Ekholm because Mattias Ekholm, he's Swedish, and I say this with love, but as a Swede, we can handle our liquor pretty well. And B, he also has no time for anybody's nonsense. So he would just move that pedal tavern up Broadway and get it out of the way. Like, I feel like it would work out well for everybody.
I feel like Mattias Ekholm's just the bouncer.
Yeah, that's
there,
true.
Like stone face with his arms crossed, just like making sure nobody like harasses the girls behind the bar.
Yeah, he has zero shits to give. Pardon my language.
Yeah, it's like just swipes Mikko Rantanen's ball cap while he's sitting there.
You get what you get. Don't poke the Swede.
Don't poke the Swedish redwood.
Yep.
Let's see. All right. This is a good one.
Oh gosh.
Favorite game you've seen in person?
Oh my goodness. Favorite game I've seen in person. Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I can tell you my least favorite, but favorite game. Gosh. I'll be honest with you. Going to games at Bridgestone Arena is my happy place. Mm-hmm. So I've been there a few. Favorite game I've been to. I've not been to a playoff game yet. That is tough. I would say, got it now. I would say I went to a game with my son Jude, also crazy hockey fan, and we got tickets somehow right behind the penalty box. And I don't remember off the top of my head, who we were playing, but we won. And I ended up sitting next to this woman who came down, and her name is Lori. And Lori is from New York, and she comes to Nashville every so often, and she loves the Rangers and she loves the Predators. And we ended up talking, and we're friends who text each other now all the time. And Jude made it on the Jumbotron because he was sitting behind
the penalty box.
The penalty box, and he did one of those like kind of poses. And we had somebody come up to us afterwards. We were leaving Bridgestone and said, "Hey, are you the kid that was behind the penalty box? You're hilarious." So that was probably my favorite game, but I can't tell you who we played. I can tell you we won.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. We had a good time. Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
The two I remember, the very first game I ever went to at Bridgestone Arena, December 23rd, 1998.
Oh my gosh.
It was 9 years old, and it was Red Wings versus Predators. The first Red Wings game at Bridgestone Arena, which back then was Nashville Arena. This was even before Gaylord Entertainment Center.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was, the Red Wings absolutely dominated them, like 50 shots or something like that. But Thomas Vokoun came out and like absolutely shut the door. Preds got a huge upset win. It wound up being 5-3. And the same thing, like we sat right behind the Predators penalty box. And my relatives back in Detroit like taped the game. And when we went up there for Christmas, they like showed it. And there we were, like me and my mom, like every single time there's a Predator in the box. There was our smiling faces on there.
That's so amazing. How cool. Did you were you, because like my first game, I was not 9 years old. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
I was not 9. So I did not know what to expect. Was it what you expected it to be? When you went to your first game?
I mean, it was definitely more intense and up close. It was cool to see because I'd watched hockey for a few years, from age like 5 or 6 when I really first started understanding sports. And of course, I've said before, both my parents grew up, watching the Red Wings. They're both from Detroit. I mean, obviously, look, which way am I going? Yeah, look behind me. There's Red Wings stuff on my wall. There's Predator stuff right here. Trust me.
Yes.
But that was, the Red Wings were my foray into hockey, and going to Nashville Predators games as a kid was really what furthered my passion. So so I mean those games were fun as hell.
Yeah, and I will tell you, being at a hockey game is such a different experience. Like I love the sound of hockey. Like there's just something about the sound of hockey that I love. So
yeah.
Oh, that is a sweet memory. I'm glad you shared that with us.
Well, thank you. All right. Next one from the hat, Anne.
Next one from the hat. All right.
We got time for a few more.
We got a couple more here. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Okay. You can bring back one former Predator to play for the team next season. Who do you pick?
I had this same question.
Great minds think alike.
And I specified, okay, so here's the thing. My question was any past Predator in their prime. So is this like any former Predator who's still playing, or just
can be any former Predator in their prime?
Predator.
Yeah.
Boy, I am going to go absolutely off the beaten path with this.
Oh, I like that.
I am going to say Merrick Zidlitsky.
You really?
Because I think he is the best fit for what this team needs. Because he is like that classic defenseman. He's good offensively. He's got a great shot. He proved that a lot. But he was just a very good, stay-at-home defenseman, very defensively sound. And I think like he is somebody that if you paired with Roman Josi, that all of a sudden becomes a top 5 pairing in the NHL. Like I'm talking about like prime, like mid 2000s Merrick Zidlitsky, where he was like up like 24, 25 minutes a game.
Wow. That would be incredible. We should do that.
Yeah. Reanimate Merrick Zidlitsky.
There you go. I mean, why not? Yeah.
I'll tell another one just because I think he would be fun playing with the herd line. Joel Ward.
Okay.
Joel Ward to me is one of my personal favorite Nashville Predators ever.
Yeah.
And just the intensity he plays with, the way he comes in, at very clutch times to score. I absolutely love Joel Ward. I can't remember if it was you or Sean, but I was telling one of you, I thought Joel Ward would be like my dream podcast guest.
Yeah.
I think he would fit in very fun with the herd line as well.
Yeah. Oh, and that would be really, that'd be a great combination. I mean, we love you, Colton Sissons, but
yeah. So just to take it out of the hat.
Okay.
The same thing. I'm pulling out the same question. You can take any Predators player in his prime from the past and put him on next year's roster. Who is it?
See, I suck at these because I always go with my heart and it makes no sense. Of course, my first answer is Rem Pitlick.
Has he even hit his prime yet?
No, but he should be doing it here in Nashville. By dang. And I feel strongly about this, and I understand that John Hynes was the coach when he was put on waivers, but I really feel like, especially as you listen to players like Duchesne and Forsberg talk about how Hynes has sort of opened things up for them to get a little bit more creative, I would love to see Rem Pitlick mature through a system like that. But we clearly all don't get what we want. Yeah. Other than Rem is always my answer for who I want back in Nashville. Gosh, that's a great question. You know who I really loved, and I know he's maybe not doing as great now, but who I loved and was just this force that I was like, he is always solid, is Craig Smith.
Yeah.
Craig Smitty was just always, and I'm not saying that because I'm using the hat he designed, but he just was always this steady presence. Like you always knew he was going to have a good game. Like he just didn't have a lot of bad games.
Yeah.
So I would bring Smitty back.
I would say Smitty too. Yeah, that's another good one. There's so many more players from the past that I loved. I mean, Paul Kariya, obviously, would just vibe so well with that top line. Hey, Shea Weber, reunite Weber and Josi, see how that works. There's just so many you can pick.
Yeah,
Let's see.
There's a ton. All right, let me see. Oh, is it me or you?
This is me.
Okay.
Wait, no. It's you. It's you.
Me.
Never mind.
All right.
I feel like we got time for one more each.
All right, let's do one more. Ooh, next season's star for the Predators will be blank because of blank.
Breakout star?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Breakout star.
Star.
Who's gonna wow us?
I think next year's breakout star is going to be Phil Tomasino because I think he is finally going to get the training wheels taken off him, and I think he is going to be a regular contributor to the top six. We have talked about this on the show so many times, Anne, where it just feels like, Phil Tomasino, whenever he was on the ice, he looked like one of the Predators' best forwards, especially in that Colorado series. I thought he was one of the best forwards. And I think next year, John Hynes is going to be like, you know what, this was your year, to kind of get your feet wet under you. He played great whenever he was elevated to the top six. And, the Predators are obviously in purgatory looking for more people to play in that top six. And I think Phil Tomasino is going to get his chance next year. And I think, it's either going to be with Johansen or Granlund, but either way, I think he's going to be an excellent addition. I think you're going to see him, I think he's a strong candidate for a 20 goal, 30 to 35 assist guy. And, kind of hit that 50 to 60 point mark and then take off from there.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think we've seen glimpses this season of what he is capable of. And, I know a lot of people in Nashville were frustrated with sometimes he was healthy scratched and he was, bottom six and he should be top six and all of that. But I think they eased him into this and sort of transitioned him to NHL skating and NHL pace pretty well. And I agree with you. Next season, when, he's kind of gone through this first season, I cannot wait to see what he does because he is an exceptional young player. And I think he will be a standout star for sure.
Yeah. Is he your pick too?
He is my pick. Yep.
Right.
And not because he's young, but because I really just think he's going to knock people's socks off next season.
Yeah. All right. So I have two left in my hat.
Okay.
Do you want the hot take-ish hockey question, or do you want the totally off the wall question?
Oh, totally off the wall.
You want totally off the wall?
That's my genre.
Okay, totally off the wall. if you're going out of town, which Preds player would you absolutely not want to house sit for you?
Ryan Johansen.
I feel like Johansen's going to listen to this and be like, what the hell? What did I do to these people?
Now, let me explain. Ryan Johansen, because he's the Funkle. You know he's having a kegger. You know he is.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would be disrespectful of my property. But yeah, Ryan Johansen. Now, the flip side of that is if I'm staying in town and I get to invite a Nashville Predator over to throw a party, I'm also going
Ryan
with
Johansen.
Ryan Johansen.
Do you remember either the snaps or the Instagram stories from when he lived with I think it was Dante Fabro and Colton Sissons, where the three of them all lived in the same house and they had like a golf course like on their house? I feel like you would go away for a week, come back, and like your garden would be like completely like raised and all your flowers like thrown to the side, and there would just be like a patch of grass with like a little like pole sticking out of it. And you're just seeing you're just seeing like Preds in their like polos and really short khaki shorts, just like hitting it out in the back.
And he is so endearing that even if I had to go around and pick up all the red Solo cups myself, I still would just giggle a little bit about it and not be mad, because that is how endearing Ryan Johansen, the Funkle, is.
Yeah. Who would you rather have watching your house, Ryan Suter or Alex Radulov?
Ryan Suter, because Radeloff would be like, she's got cobwebs and she has dirty laundry everywhere.
Well, we know what Alex Radeloff does when there's alcohol involved and he's got some free time on his hands. So,
no, he would tell way too much. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was great.
Stay tuned, because there's going to be a long summer layoff in the Nashville Predators, so we'll definitely do this against. So next week we'll have more player report cards. We'll pick things back up next week with Mikael Granlund.
Come on.
One of our favorite guys. We also have more Central Division crossovers coming up. We, of course, did one with the Minnesota Wild. We got some coming up with Arizona down in the thing. They just had their thingy passed. They're the 10th new arena possibility. So we'll talk about that. And also stay tuned, because with the NHL draft coming soon, we will have some analysis from our boy Eric Dene over at Check with some guys the Predators could potentially draft. And also we expect the Norris Trophy and the Vezina Trophy to be announced within the next few days or so. So of course there's going to be some heated reaction from that, no matter what happens. John Hines finished, I think he wound up like ninth, which was one spot ahead of John Cooper, which was certainly fun. So we'll have more on that all next week. Until then, Anne, where can the people find your work?
You can find my work at ontheforecheck.com, and you can find me on Twitter at ANK_Mama on Ice.
I'm Nick Moore. You can find me at ontheforecheck.com as well. Follow me on Twitter at _NSMorgan. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know your answers to any of the scenes from a hat, the takes from the hat that we have given you here today. But for us, that's going to do it on the Locked On Predators podcast. Thank you for making us your first listen every day this week. We'll be back next Monday with all new episodes. We'll see you then, everybody. Cheers.